Start my reading practice from the book 10x is easier than 2x. Now I start. The point 7 is the leader. Every organization, association, or movement has a leader. This leader is seen as an attractive character and a servant. They are not the hero of the story. Each individual member is a hero. The leader is simply there to serve, guide, and support all the members. The leader takes the customer or member along the journey, helping them through the transformation and process of their own hero's journey, which the association provides. Tim's story shows someone who went from rugged individual to a transformational leader. As a transformational leader, he began investing in and developing himself. He expanded his own vision and sense of purpose for himself and the cause he was leading USCCA. Rather than stifling his team as he previously had, micromanaging and over-controlling, he applied transformational leadership principles of expanding and elevating his team. Some of the core principles of transformational leadership, which is the most studied and science-based theory and application of leadership, include: first one is idealized influence. Transformational leaders are role models who, through their actions and values, inspire those who follow them. They take risks and commit to chosen values and display convictions that create a sense of confidence in those they lead. The second is inspirational motivation. Transformational leaders inspire inspiration and a sense of purpose in those they lead. They articulate a vision and communicate expectations and confidence in the team. They communicate with clarity and conviction and shift seemingly negative or challenging circumstances into opportunities for gains and growth. They are gain oriented, not gap minded. The third one is intellectual stimulation. Transformational leaders have value creativity and autonomy among each team member. The leader involves members in the decision making process and stimulates creative thinking. They challenge assumptions and create an environment where healthy conflict can arise. They change how their followers think about and frame problems and obstacles, empowering them to take ownership of decisions and results. Individualized consideration. Transformational leaders know that each member of the team is a unique individual with unique goals and a unique ability. Transformational leaders remove friction and anxiety and provide an environment where each unique individual feels free and autonomous to be their best selves and to openly and honestly communicate their challenges, wishes, and perspectives. In addition to growing into a transformational leader, Tim also began enabling the who's on his team to operate autonomously, leading themselves, taking ownership, and deciding how they would fulfill their individual roles and responsibilities, rather than being helicoptered over by a manager, not a leader. Tim also developed his own philosophy and ideology and put it into a clear framework, which not only guided the direction and vision of the company and team but also provided psychographic clarity and alignment for the end customer and community. As a transformational leader, Tim provided principles, training, language, rituals, and community for people who want to responsibly own guns. He provided a culture for people to attach and build as a part of their identity. He also provided a maturity model, including an initial level that ascends as the client learns, evolves, and applies USCCA. Tim consciously and humbly went from rugged individualist to transformational leader. He stopped needing to control the house and instead began investing in himself by getting increasingly high quality who's. He let those who's operate in their unique ability and increasingly manage themselves rather than control their every movement. He became a leader, evolving and expanding himself, his vision, his philosophy, and the unique value he brought to his team and clients. At each stage of Tim's development, He had to let go of the 80% that got him there, which was now holding him back from making his next 10x jump. With Tim's story now behind us, I will go into some of the core who, not how principles and applications. These are also the core areas people get stuck attempting to apply who, not how, which stop them from going 10x and keep them stuck in 2x mode. Who, not how FAQ. Question: what is the first who that young entrepreneurs should get? Get an administrative assistant of some sort, whether in person or digital. Another word for this, using the language of Gino Wickman and the Entrepreneurial Operating System EOS, is integrator. Susan Kichuk is an extremely high level application of this role, though you can also start small by simply getting a digital assistant who immediately frees up 20 plus hours of your time. The 80% including scheduling, email, logistics, etc. Their job is to organize you, make your life easy and simple, and handle mundane and daily tasks. The goal is that your mind is increasingly free to focus on what you do best, whatever that may be. As the popular saying goes, Frank Sinatra doesn't move his own pianos. Similarly, Dan advises his entrepreneurs to never show up on your own and without a team supporting you. To be blunt, you simply don't look high level if you are the one answering your own emails and inquiries and seemingly handling the operation side of your work. You look like a one person show, which calls into question the level of service and quality, as well as professionalism and results you can provide. Never show up without a team. Whenever you are facing a client or prospect, have that outward facing initial contact and systemized process be handled by a who, not you. Let your who organize you and set the stage for you so that you can show up and perform your best work. Not only does this enable you to focus on what you do best, but it also positions you far better for those you serve. In addition to having your who set the stage for the actual work you do, enabling you to just show up, they can and should set the stage for everything else in your life, making it increasingly easier. For example, they can set the stage for your day and week, helping you know where to focus your best energy and efforts and filtering out all the noise so you can keep your mind and attention on the highest leverage unique ability activities. Question: what if I am scared of being a jerk and bossing someone else around? Clarity in the beginning about what your standards and success criteria are is crucial. However, you can always reconnect and reclarify your standards anytime. If it's a strong relationship and if you are constantly learning and growing, then your standards and processes will always be updating and improving. It should be a continuous and iterative process. For example, as someone who regularly goes on podcasts to promote my books, I am regularly communicating to Chelsea, my assistant and implementer, about the standards for the podcast I go on. It's never a one-time thing, but an ongoing process of tightening up the filter which she helps me apply to achieve desired results. The more you apply who, not how, and empower your who's to take ownership, and the more you experience the freedom of being in your 20%, the less you will feel like a jerk. You are a leader. They have a job they are excited to support you in. This is their job. Get people who want to work and who want to be successful. As Jim Collins said in Good to Great, if you have the right people on the bus, the problem of how to motivate and manage people largely goes away. The right people don't need to be tightly managed or fired up. They will be self-motivated by the inner drive to produce the best results and to be a part of creating something great. Question: what if you can't afford a who? You can't afford not to get who's. Don't see them as a cost. Getting a who is an investment in yourself and your results. The longer you wait to get a who, the more of your time and energy will be sucked up in the 80% that only produces 20% of your results. Moreover, by being overly spread thin and busy, you are experiencing very little flow and depth, which is how you produce 10x higher quality results. When you invest in a who, not only will you free yourself up by dozens of hours you can spend on the 20% of activities that are 10x more valuable, but you will flow and focus while you are doing that 20%. All the while your new who will be more focused on their role and will more consistently produce the desired results of their role, which you were lackluster and inconsistently producing before. Everything immediately gets better, especially your own psychology and focus, which are foundational to going 10x. Question: how do you find the right who's? Who, not how, is a continuous process that you will progressively get better at with time. It's like any other skill. In the beginning, you won't be that great at all. You won't have the best clarity and filters you will use to find highly specific who's. You will also probably not have the funds to get the most specialized and capable who's you can. As with all things, start small, but just start. Get your first assistant to take 20 hours of logistical and operational work off your plate. You can find a digital assistant overseas or even a person in the United States for less than $15 per hour to take this role. And you will actually be surprised at the level of talent you can find for this role. As you start seeing the power of who, not how, you will stop resisting it so much. You will feel the power of having someone handle a ton of work for you, and you will have more bandwidth to produce more in your 20%, which is the unique value you bring to the marketplace, which also brings you energy, flow, and joy. There are limitless places you can find a who, even social media. I found my first two assistants asking my Facebook friends if they knew anyone who wanted a part-time job as my personal assistant. I literally got dozens of applications, and both of the women I hired were amazing for that stage of my career. Eventually, I stopped finding my own who's, enabling my assistant to do that for me. I just give her clear directions on the type of results I am looking for, i.e., that is my vision and standards, and let her find and interview the who she feels best about. The more specialized you become, the more specific the who's you will need to help you get your desired results, which actually makes them easier to find since there are far fewer of them. As an example, to get this book where I wanted it, I knew I needed an editor that really knew business books. It took me less than an hour to think of Helen, who is a top tier editor of business books like these and has worked on huge titles with household name level authors. Question: what happens if I get the wrong who and waste tons of money? This happens regularly. Get in the gain, not the gap. Everything happens for you, not to you. The reason you got the wrong who is because you were not clear on what you wanted, and you were not being a great buyer, using Dan Sullivan's language. When you are a buyer rather than a seller, you are very clear on the results you want to create. You have high standards for everything you do, and you only work with increasingly high impact players who are proven and committed. Even still, there is a progression we all go through, and even after you have built an amazing team and group of collaborators, there is never a time you will arrive and be completely free of the wrong who's. The main thing is having a system in place where you filter out the wrong people faster and also course correct faster once you have realized the wrong who is in place. Often you will lose money on the wrong who's. Even writing this book, I went through multiple editors and consultants who could not get me and this book where I wanted it to go. But I am in the gain, not the gap. Therefore, I am turning my experiences into growth and learning. wherein I am clearer and my system is better in the future for finding whose than it was in the past. Who not how is not a skill set. You are taught even in business school. Stay in the game and keep getting better. Over time, the who's around you will blow you away and the system will be increasingly self managing. That's it for the day.